Hello and welcome. My name is Karen and you may know me as Art on the Fridge. In this video, I'm going to show you a speeded up version of me drawing this doodle. So I started off marking out a border on the paper just because I didn't feel like having the pen go all the way to the edge of the paper. I do this a lot. I draw a border on the paper either with a ruler or without. It doesn't matter. Then I drew this sort of branch looking shape, which I tried to give some texture and depth using stippling, and I added this other sort of stripy patterned wavy shape, and I kept adding textures. As you can see, I added some stripes which look like they're offset into the background, and I drew these squiggly circles. The white part of those circles is just the paper, and I drew them by coloring in the outside or filling in the outside and the inside with ink. And at some point I wanted to stop that shape, so I wanted to have it sort of fade out in a gradual way into this sort of amorphic texture. I added some more branches and I kept going. At this point, I just had this idea that this was like this big rock hanging in the air. So I started wrapping this rock with some heavy rope. And then I added texture using stippling, which I think it ended up looking pretty nice. And from there on, every time I sort of felt like I finished one area of the drawing or one element in the drawing, I asked myself, okay, where would I like to go next, and what kind of texture would I like to try next? This is my favorite part in the drawing, these sort of like ropey ropes, stripy ropes hanging down. I think they're the most organic part, and I personally like them the most in this drawing, though this was a really good experiment. Not too happy with what I did to the left of the rock because I think it takes away from the contrast between the rock and the background. I think it would have been better to leave a whiter background around the rock on the left side. And that's one of the reasons why I added an outline to the rock on the right side, and I'm not too happy with that either, because you'll see me doing that in a bit, because I think it just feels artificial. It takes away from the depth of the drawing. Down here I added some clouds which are heavily inspired by Peter Draws. He draws these sort of clouds, and I really enjoyed drawing them, and I like how they came out. So it's basically sort of these cloudy shapes and stippling to add a bit of depth. I experimented a little bit with sort of pipe shapes and with this sort of branch shape. There's a lot of experimentation going on in this drawing with all sorts of textures and all sorts of shapes, some small, some larger scale. And unfortunately, my camera stopped recording and I didn't notice. So I don't have the recording all the way to the end. The part that I didn't record was the shape at the right, to which I tried to add depth using stippling. Actually, that was pretty interesting technically to do. So I hope that in a future drawing, I'll be able to show you that. So I hope you enjoyed it. You're welcome to share this video with your friends who might enjoy watching, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you next time.